welcome to Drawing with Paolo. Today we're going to be drawing Daredevil, and this Daredevil drawing will cover a few requests I've been getting. One for Daredevil, of course, one for the male human body, and one for a bodybuilder. So we're going to try to cover most of this page, and starting with the head and the body, all the way to the bottom of the legs. We're going to start with a circle, essentially, and this drawing will cover all of those demands. The next step here is to draw the human torso. So we're going to draw a line down the bottom here, which will represent the spinal cord, and then a little triangle to represent the shoulders. It is said that you need to use 3 heads on top of the shoulders to demonstrate the large part of the top of the shoulders, how wide those shoulders should be. So this is where the rounded out part will be. We're just going to erase these heads here. And then we can draw in where the shoulders will go. We're going to draw 2 circles out here in a few minutes. So let's finish off this bottom triangle, draw the shoulders like that, and then the arms will be down this way, and then there's a line, an imaginary line which attaches pretty much the elbows to the belt line. That's how low you should have your elbows, to the belt line. This is where we'll have, at this point here, we're going to draw the hips at the bottom like this, an upside down triangle. And we'll add lines here which will represent the abdominal muscles. So just pull lines across, and this is pretty much where the abs will be. And then I'm going to have his elbow flaring up, because Daredevil here will be holding one of his sticks. Daredevil is known for having these sticks, so we're going to have his arm bent forward and his fist up here, which will be holding a stick. Alright, and then this arm will be straight down. Let's erase some of these lines here because we're good to go for the rest of our drawing. Let's get these out of the way, just like that. And now we're going to start on his head. So we're going to redraw the outside line of his head, make the top a little bit rounder, and give him a jawline here, a superhero jawline. And his cowl on Ghost Rider, on Daredevil actually, it goes down to the top of his nose. And the horns, of course, which represent Daredevil pretty well. His eyes here, just like that. And his head is bent forward a little bit, so he's sort of like in a menacing pose. Add lines for his nose. And then we'll add, in a few seconds, after I erase this here, redraw his jawline a little bit better. And add his lip line, just like that. And a little line underneath here. And then we're going to add some folds to the side of his nose and mouth, just like this, and a little bit of cheekbone on either side. There you go. Redraw this line out a little bit, a little dimple in the chin. And then we're going to color in his cowl, and his cowl is sort of dark. The light is coming from the top and back. So the whole front part here of his face should be dark. I'm going to speed this up. You can pause this at any time to catch up. Don't be afraid to pause and rewind and catch up with me. This might help you out. All right, little detail there. And then we're going to color in the horns here a little bit. The horns are dark as well, and the outside line of his cowl, his mask. Just like that. Then we're going to add a bit of shading here to the edge, so the shadow isn't so hard-edged. It'll be smoother by adding a few lines like this. And the next step is to color in his face. So we're going to add that little lip divot and color in his face, just like that. So it's shaded, but I'm not going to make it as shaded as it would really be, or else we wouldn't be able to see the detail in his face. You know, we can take free license with our drawings. And now let's do our body. So we're going to add the trapezius muscles here at the top on either side, which attach to the shoulder muscle, just like that, a really nice curve right into the shoulder called the deltoids. And the deltoid top muscle attaches to the clavicle, which goes all the way across and comes to attach here to the top of this deltoid as well. And sometimes you can see some deltoid details. You know, when a guy's ripped, as a bodybuilder is, you can see the muscle inside those shoulders. All right, so this part here is all about where we're going to have a lot of detail. So it's chest muscles, what we call the pecs, pectoralis major. Those are 2 sort of semicircles here on either side. And they come and attach within the shoulder here on the left and right side, which attach then into the bicep and tricep. So the tricep here and bicep will be sort of like a sausage shape, just like in the Spartan video. We'll make an oval which will represent both these muscle groups. And then we'll add the lat muscle here on the side, the other lat muscle on the right side, which comes down to the pelvis. Then erase the lines inside there. Then we'll add the tricep muscle, which attaches to the bicep muscle up here to the front, and then to the forearm. And the forearm is sort of like an upside down pear shape, a thin pear. I don't know that you want to eat one like this, but that's what you're looking for, is this kind of shape just like that. And then inside here, there's sort of like a heart shape, which is the muscle that separates the forearm. And of course, we'll add a glove line because Daredevil wears big red gloves. We'll add his Daredevil logo here on his chest. It's a double D, so two Ds side to side, a little offset, so they're not the same height. And this is the red Daredevil. It's not the classic yellow and brown. This is a special request, once again, for 3 types of drawings, all combined into one. So a bodybuilder, superhero Daredevil, and the male form. Now I'm going to redraw these lines that I just erased. And don't be afraid to erase. If you've made a mistake, that's the best way to learn, is to draw things and look at it, redraw them. So make sure to erase your drawings once in a while. That's okay. And don't press too hard the first time around. When you're satisfied with your lines, then you can press a lot harder, like I am now with these letter Ds. All right, I'm going to add a bit more shading here to this dark shadow. And then we need to color, of course, his head is blocking the light onto his body. So we're going to color in some shading underneath his chin here. Really dark against his body. His head is casting a shadow. And we'll add this little reflection line at the top of his traps. This reflection line will make his suit look shiny. Just like that. A little line here with a little white gap at the edge. And this will come and attach into the shoulder line, just like this. And we'll add a bit more shading here onto either side of his head to detach the head a little bit more. All right, now that the pec muscles have a thickness, and to represent this thickness, we're going to draw these lines here. And this line will be totally black, all the way to this point here, where we're going to make this bottom part a little bit lighter, because we'll create a secondary light which is at the bottom front of Daredevil here. So this little line here will be darker. So we're going to color that in real quick. I'm going to speed this up for you. Don't forget to pause this if you like. So I'm going to make this real nice and dark, and at the bottom here, just a little lighter, so it would appear as though there's a little bit of a brighter light at the bottom. Here we go. Darken the right side as well. And I'm going to add a few muscle lines here into his chest, just like this. And of course, the sheen, as I was speaking to you about before, about the trapezius muscles, will be the same for the pecs. We want this nice satiny look to his suit. So we're going to make these black lines which represent that sort of reflectiveness. There you go. This can be really tight leather, or it can be latex. I don't know. In the Daredevil movie, they used leather, a dark red leather. In our case, in the comic books, I'm not sure, it's like I said, it's a shiny kind of spandex. A lot of stretchability in spandex. So here in the letter D, I'm going to add a little bit of shading as well to represent the fact that it's leaning on a 3D shape. His chest, just like that. We're going to add a few more lines here to show these flexing a little bit. All right, here comes the exterior tricep muscle that attaches to the elbow. Add a little line here for definition. And we're going to color in here the same shading as his pectoral muscle. So just another circular shape to represent that there is a bulge here in this muscle. And we're going to color that in all in black and leave a little white gap at the bottom again, which we're going to make a little bit darker, but not as dark as the middle part. And a little bit of a sheen here once more. And the same thing for the shoulder. Add that same dark line, which will attach to the pec muscle, just like that. Same thing for the bottom of the tricep here. All right, now we're going to color in his forearm, and we're going to color in that heart shape as I mentioned earlier. So we're just going to blacken this whole part here real quickly. Now remember to color and draw on the left side first and move your way towards the right side. That way you won't be smudging your drawing. All right, here's a little bit of reflectiveness again. And add this hand. This left hand here will be relaxed, opened. You won't be holding anything. Just finishing a few lines here that I'm going to be keeping. And then I'm just going to flesh out this hand a little bit more. So pull the line here at the bottom and add the thumb line over here. I'll be leaning against the thigh. All right, let's work on the coloring in this arm. So we're going to shade that all in gray, speed that up. Light gray. You can make it darker if you like. I'm going to add a bit more shading to give it a 3D look. Just like that. And then we're going to add what we call the oblique muscles, or these are attached to the ribs, and they sort of look like Captain America's scales. So we're going to add like it's a circle that attached to, a half a circle that attaches to another half a circle, and then you make another one that's layered behind it. Just like bricks, stacking bricks essentially. And then you need to color those dark. And here is the lat muscle that attaches to the side of the hips. I'm going to color that in real quickly. And now we'll add the center line to the abdominal muscles. There you go. The bottom line to the top muscles. Drawing a six-pack here. Now if you want to know how to draw six-packs and all those things, get yourself some comic books or get yourselves bodybuilding magazines. They're $7 to $15 depending on the kind. You can get flex and all kinds of things, which will help you draw these characters. And now we're going to add his belt here at the bottom real quickly. So just a really thin line and not very much detail in Daredevil's belt. There's much more in Batman's belt than this one does have. Just like that. We're going to add little loops that his belt thread through. Just here on either side. And color that in with a little bit of gray. Just very basic. A little blackness on this side here. Add his little suit here, little bends to represent clothing. Erase that line. And now keep in mind, you always want to color from left to right so that you don't smudge your drawing. Okay, we're going to represent the same obliques on this side here. We're going to redraw those lines just like we did on the left side first. And color that in. Each top should be darker than the bottom. So a thick line to a thin line. And then we're going to color the rest of the chest in. And I'm going to add a bit more of this shading that we did in the chest to the abs. And that's, once again, the point is to give a 3D volume to those muscles. So we do it to the chest, we do it to the bicep. And I'm going to accelerate these guys here so that you've done one or two so you can do the rest in the same fashion. All right, color in a little bit of darkness in the middle and on either side because there is a little bit of depth in there. And the pec muscles are actually producing a shading here underneath, so I'm going to color that in to give it more of a depth. And that's why we left that little gray line there earlier. It's to represent lighting, but it's also to detach itself from the chest because the light is blocked by these chest muscles. Very powerful stance here. Now let's work on the hand. So the hand is, 4 sausages side to side. And they're wider, closer to us, and thinner away from us. So the fingers that are closest to Daredevil will be thin. If you have a hard time, look, you've got 2 hands. Use your fist to draw what you see, and use this hand, and you represent that on your paper. And that's what I like to do is, a while ago, I had a hard time drawing hands, but what you need to do is really steer to your hands a lot. And people tend to have a hard time drawing fists and the knuckles and all that. Well, you have the best example, your best weapon is your eyes. So stare at your fist, and you can just represent that on your paper, draw it on your paper. This attaches to the forearm, of course, which goes down to the elbow. And it's foreshortened, so it looks thinner at the bottom than it does at the top, strangely. Trust me, the fist is a little bit closer to us, so it looks a bit bigger. I'm going to erase the lines in there to redraw his glove line. Should be over here. A weird curve like that. And this is the palm thickness here, and we'll put a gloves line in here, how it's sewn together. And now we're going to color in every one of the fingers at the bottom. The bottom part here is shaded, and the top part is lit. We'll do the same for the knuckle folds. Color in here the palm, and here, just like that, we're going to color that in as well. Each knuckle should have a really deep groove here. And color in every finger just like that. And then we'll shade that in with a nice tone of gray. Same gray as the rest of his suit. All right, now we're going to draw his stick. This is his blind man stick that can collapse. He can shoot hooks from this and swing from them, sort of like Spider-Man does. And so over here, there's a strap at the bottom of his stick. This strap allows him to thread it through his hand. You can use this strap so he doesn't lose his stick. And you can put it over here on his wrist. And you can use these also as nunchucks. He has 2 of them. Erase some of these lines here again. Redraw those outlines. You can use it as a cop's nightstick. Multi-purpose tool. And color the inside here. There we go. We're going to color a shadow to the bottom right side of the stick all the way to the top. Give it some 3D-ness to it. There we go. Mind you, this is a difficult drawing, but if you were successful in doing the Spartan and the clone trooper, then you should be able to pull this one off. And if you have a hard time, the best trick is just to keep at it. Try it and try again. Do it over and over. You need a lot of practice. All right, we're going to color the underside of his arm here. Finish off the right side of his torso and color in his arm. His arm is sort of blocked by his body so the light doesn't get in there. So, and this bicep line, of course, just like on the other arm, we're going to color that in too. Give it that 3D look with a nice black bottomy line. Nice circular shape up here. Nice and dark. And we're going to attach that here to this shadowed gradient. And the same thing as the other shoulder right here. Nice curved line, nice and dark. Gives a good idea of 3D. All right, color in the shoulder. Give that sheen again, a little reflection. And we're going to do the forearm next. We'll be able to color that in a few seconds. All right, so let's finish off here this forearm. Finish off the lines. And of course, the underside here is, the light's coming from the top, so the underside here is very dark as well. We're going to color that in really quickly. Just like that. And the right side here will be shaded slightly. All right, let's finish off his little Speedo here. And the little case that holds his nightsticks here on the side of his leg, so they're strapped in there. Draw the box, his inner thigh, and then we're going to draw that attachment line, sort of like a, here's a Speedo line, of course, little shorts. Color in the side here a little bit more. You can just add a whole bunch of different details in here just by coloring all sorts of shapes. Get that going with the shininess and all that. Just feel free to color the way you like. Any kind of pressure is good. Just, you know, feel it. You sort of have to, sometimes it's all about the feeling of the drawing, how you like it. All right, here in the shorts, we're just going to color everything in gray first. And then we're going to give some zigzag pattern inside of that to give it like a foldiness to the material. So a little bit more darker lines in the middle part. So we get an idea that this is a reflective and folded surface, just like that. And the belt, of course, is creating a shadow there too. And on the side here as well, we're going to make it darker. Give that idea of 3D. To the pants. Same thing on the right, left side. All right, let's color in his leg here. But first, don't forget to put the items in those straps that hold his nightstick case here on the side of his leg. color all this stuff in. Same thing, now we're going to add leg muscles. Use that shine effect. What you need to do is really add diagonal lines in this leg so that it looks like he's sort of flexing that leg, or it's a muscular leg. And I'm going to color the top here, finish that line so it shows that it's really cut off onto the leg. And color to the bottom here because it's shaded. And represent the same thing on the other side. The gradient shading to a little V-line, diagonal line. And shade that in a little bit more, and then add the little sheen on the far right side here, on the side of his stick case. Just like that, so from the shorts to his thigh. And then we're going to color the case in much the same manner as we've done the whole outfit. All right, the last step, of course, after I color his head, is to add those little reflectiveness with the eraser. So you erase parts that you want to show are very bright. And essentially, there you have it. That's how you draw Daredevil, or any superhero, mind you. Just change the outfit, and a bodybuilder, and the male form is very muscular compared to the female form, or anyway, denser. And maybe in a few weeks, I'll be drawing the female form as well. I hope you enjoyed drawing this one. It's a difficult drawing, I admit, but I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. I really like drawing superheroes, as you can probably attest by the speed at which I drew this. So guys, thank you for watching Drawing with Paolo. We'll see you next time on another episode. Have a great day.